Hello, dear students, research scholars, and esteemed colleagues. Welcome here. This is my fourth lecture, and I'm glad to share that I'm getting positive response for these video lectures from all of you. So yes, this is a point of satisfaction for me. And after this brief self-appreciation, let me come straight to the lecture and the topic. uh, the subject matter of sociology of health often appear very close to the subject matter of some of the subdisciplines or disciplines like social medicine, community health, or public health. We need to understand the differences between these subdisciplines. And then at a different level, uh, within sociology, we have subdisciplines like medical sociology or sociology of medicine or even sociology in medicine. So again, we need to understand the differences between these approaches, the nuanced differences. For that, we need to understand the emergence and scope of sociology of health. So this lecture, we are going to deliver on this topic, and I'm going to share the screen because I have prepared some slides under the PPT presentation. And yes, it takes a few seconds. So I'm about to share. It's taking more than normal time. Maybe the poor connectivity is responsible for this. Yes, finally. So here is the topic, sociology of health, emergence and scope. This is the fourth lecture of sociology of health series. Now this lecture is divided in 5 parts: emergence of sociology of health, subject matter of sociology of health, the scope of sociology of health. Now, just let me add here, basically because of the prevalence of COVID-19 and corona and communicable disease and dominance of medicine, terms like medicine, and then immunity, then clinical trial and health issues. Actually, uh, the scope of sociology of health is becoming very visible. And today we'll talk about that. And beyond this, I'll also add, what is this? Some description. So beyond this, we'll also talk about sociology of health in India and then the phases of development of sociology of health in India. So yes, we come to the first slide. Sociology of health is sometimes also identified as sociology of health and illness and sociology of health and medicine. So if you happen to see titles like sociology of health and illness or sociology of health and medicine, then don't get confused. Primarily, they are just like sociology of health because these are getting guided by the theories and the perspectives emerging within sociology, right? So sociology of health and illness, sociology of health and medicine are almost the same discipline or subdiscipline. Then comes the major issue, as we just talked about. Very often, the subject matter appears closer to public health, social medicine, and community health. Now, we need to understand this, that social medicine and community health are closer to the biomedical approach because they find their origin in those biomedical sciences. Right? We talked about this biomedical approach in our first lecture, that is understanding health. We also talked about this in our second lecture, that is understanding disease and classification. So yes, we can take our understanding from there. This community health and social medicine are closer to the approach of biomedical sciences. Public health is situated somehow in between the social sciences and the medical sciences. It's following interdisciplinary approach or multidisciplinary approach. Then comes sociology of health. Yes, within this sociology of health, there are some other subdisciplines, or you can say similar subdisciplines like medical sociology, sociology of medicine, and sociology of medicine. And sometimes students get confused that actually which branch of sociology or which subdiscipline of sociology we are talking about. So for understanding these things, we need to understand the larger context and the canvas, and that's why this lecture is important. Tracing the development of basically, we can consider sociology of health as the logical successor of medical sociology. I mean, why do we consider this? This will become clear soon after. But as of now, we can say that let us assume or let us consider that sociology of health is a successor of medical sociology or sociology in medicine and sociology of medicine. Although this consideration or this assumption is not free from criticism, there are critique to this approach. And actually, even my own work is creating some kind of departure from the approaches of medical sociology. So, but we are just assuming for the sake of bringing some kind of chronology, right? Now, tracing the development of medical sociology, Scamler states that medical sociology is normally regarded as post-Second World War phenomenon and as originating in USA. That means actually in the aftermath of Second World War, the overall scenario in US has created several things, and one such thing was the emergence of, or you can say the popularization of sociology, of the popularization of medical sociology. We can relate this development with one very eminent sociologist, that is Talcott Parsons. I've talked about this at a later stage, but actually Parsons was a champion of structural functionalism. And in his book, The Social System, he talked about medical profession as one of the example of the one of the subsystem of the social system. And it's from this particular discussion that the medical domain of life got attention in sociological write-up. So that is why we are relating sociology of health with medical sociology. But we will talk about these things at a later stage. Let us try to follow the things which are described over here. So one thing is clear, that Scamler is relating sociology of health with medical sociology and medical sociology with the subdiscipline which emerged in US in the post-Second World War era. However, Lupton is saying that this term medical sociology emerged long back. Long back, that means in 1894. And this term at that point of time actually referred to importance of social factors in health. So this social factor in health is something that we actually take into consideration when we talk about sociology of health. So medical sociology at a later stage incorporated a specific perspective. But if we relate medical sociology with what was conceptualized by Charles McIntyre, then again we are focusing on importance of social factor in health, right? So let us be let us be more systematic and try to understand this medical sociology. The specific application of sociology to the field of health, illness, and healthcare has been termed as medical sociology. This is a very simple definition. Simply, sociology and its application in the field of health, illness, and healthcare. Although the term being used here is medical, but what is conceptualized? What is meant? health, illness, and healthcare. Now, David McConney gives a very comprehensive definition. Medical sociology is an interdisciplinary field that benefits richly not only from the work of sociologists and social psychologists, but also from that of researchers in medicine and public health, and epidemiologists and health economists and physicians involved in researching their own practices. That means for David McConney, medical sociology is some kind of subdiscipline which is addressing the issues raised by several other subdisciplines, including public health or social psychology. That means it's a kind of interdisciplinary field. And then Cookerham is saying that the study of social causes and consequences of health and illness. Simple, as we talked about McIntyre, and so is what is stated by Cookerham, that medical sociology is the study of social causes and consequences of health and illness. Then basically the discussion becomes very interesting when Robert Strauss in 1957, right? Robert Strauss in 1957 suggests that medical sociology is divided into two separate but closely interrelated areas: sociology of medicine and sociology in medicine, right? So 1957. In 1951, Parsons talks about the medical profession in his book, The Social System. And then basically the sociologists are getting attracted to the domain of health and medicine. And then comes Robert Strauss, this famous categorization or this famous classification of sociology of medicine and sociology in medicine. Now, these are easy to understand. Cookerham and Ritchie have explained sociology of medicine, and so many things are written over here. But yes, to make it simple, this sociology of medicine refers to sociology or social causation of medicine, or you can say the social world of medicine, or you can say the way medicine is operating as a social phenomenon or social process. So to make it further simple, we can say that the way we talk about sociology of education, or you can say sociology of religion, or sociology of marginalized groups, just in following that very pattern, we are talking about sociology of medicine. That is, medicine is a whole perspective, is a worldview, and we are examining the social mechanism, processes, institutions, everything located there. Primarily, these are the works of the sociologists located in universities in the Department of Sociology. On the other hand, sociology in medicine is somehow different. As explained by Cookerham and Ritchie, sociologist in medicine is a sociologist who collaborates directly with physicians and other health personnel in studying these social factors that are relevant to particular health problem. So just one line description, that they collaborate with physicians, that means the medical professionals or the health professional, and they are working in the larger environment of the health profession, right? They are helpful in providing patient care, and basically they are motivated by the medical problems. Some of the tasks of the sociologist in medicine are to analyze the causes of health disorder, and then the ways in which the incidence and prevalence of a specific health disorder are related to. Fine. Sociologists in medicine usually work in medical school, nursing school, public health school, teaching hospital, public health agency, etc., etc. That means they are sociologists situated in the world of medicine. Now, it's very interesting to know that in US, basically this sociology in medicine is very popular. And actually, as of today, the term that is popular there is medical sociology. So they are not talking about sociology of health, rather they are talking about medical sociology. And that is why I was saying that there is some difference between medical sociology and sociology of health, because as of today both these nomenclature are popular. In US primarily it is medical sociology. In some of the colonial countries we can see medical sociology, but in Europe we are largely saying sociology of health, and there are several reasons. We'll come to most of those reasons. Now we come to this nomenclature, sociology of health. The recognition of the complex relationship between social factors and the level of health and disease of various groups has resulted in the growth of sociology of health and illness. A simple, I've highlighted this in red color, various groups. So the moment we talk about the level of health and disease of various groups. So the moment we are talking about groups, it's becoming sociological. So when we talk about the social factors related to health and disease, and we take into consideration the health, illness, and disease related conditions of the various groups, but this is naturally becoming sociology of health in its orientation. Sociology of health and illness is becoming the preferred term, suggesting a wider canvas than the purely medical. Now, one disagreement between medical sociology and sociology of health is related to the over emphasis over the word medical, because this medical is associated with the biomedical sciences, right? So when we're talking about medical sociology, somehow it is assumed that we are looking at the discipline of sociology situated within the medical world, or you can say the biomedical world. Sociology of health is somehow moving away from this over dominance of this medical approach or biomedical approach in the larger context of health. And that is why I was saying that if we see that sociology of health is a logical successor of medical sociology, then it will be somehow a problematic statement also. But just to trace the chronology, we talked about this. So by now it is clear that medical sociology has its own orientation and sociology of health is having its own orientation. We'll talk about the subject matter, and then this the differences in the orientation will also become very clear. But again, we are going to follow the slides. For Sarah Nettleton, the sociology of health and illness is not confined to the narrow domain of formal institutions of medicine, right? As we just stated. And hence, Nettleton prefers the phrase sociology of health. Then one more thing is there. In the 80s and 90s, basically several things happened. The word health became more popular. It developed new dimensions. We talked about these new dimensions in our previous lectures. And because the meaning and the scope of the word health is becoming more and more wide, and it's getting a new horizon, that the appeal for the term or nomenclature sociology of health is also increasing. And I have written about this in my book Sociology of Health, and in one other article also I had made a presentation related to this in the World Congress, which was held in Sweden in 2010 also, right? So there are new discourses and discussions going on. Now we come to the subject matter of sociology of health. With this background understanding, we can come straight forward to the subject matter. And okay, sociology of health ranges over a wide territory, which conditions came to be called as disease, the experiences of being sick or ill, the organization of the medical profession, the ways in which health policies are produced, and the working of the hospitals, and all those related dimensions that we talk about when we talk about health or illness or disease are actually effectively the subject matter of sociology of health. So in terms of identification of the topics, there is absolutely no difference as we stated earlier. Maybe public health is also talking about those topics. Maybe social medicine or community medicine is also talking about those topics. Subject matter of sociology of health is somehow related to each and every topic or dimension related to health. Sometimes it becomes much more than what is explained or talked about in the biomedical sciences like social medicine or community health. But yes, public health, because it follows a interdisciplinary approach, so that comes closer to sociology of health. But yes, as we will explain shortly, what gives the distinction to sociology of health is its rich theoretical knowledge. Right, now we are coming straight to that. According to White, sociologists are not trying to tell health practitioners how to do their job, though some of their findings can tell us interesting things about how medicine and nursing are practiced, right? So sociologists are not basically preaching, or they are not telling what to do. Rather, they are doing their own work. And if other or allied sciences are getting benefited, then certainly this is a welcome move. But we are working in our own independent capacity. The focus is not on the individual as such, but on the group of which individual is the member. So basic difference which exists between biomedical and the social perspective is related to this, that in social sciences, or basically in sociology, we are talking about the health conditions of the group, or illness conditions which are prevailing among the groups, or the symptoms and the signs of disease which are appearing at the level of the group. So the focus is on group health and not on the health of the individual. As we talked about this in the first lecture, we're talking about the health inequalities, the health inequities, then the impact of the policies and planning, and several other things. According to Larkin, sociology of health is concerned with all aspects of contemporary life that talks about well-being throughout the life course. So anything and everything that talks about well-being related to almost every dimension of life is the subject matter of sociology of health. Right, now there is another explanation. Gerhard talks about actually the theoretical paradigms and says that sociology of health and illness can be explored by making use of these four theoretical paradigms: the structural functionalism, symbolic interactionism, phenomenology, and conflict theory. Well, we'll come to this because we are having even better theoretical articulation. Turner is talking about three levels: individual level, social level, and societal level. But here again, we can differentiate between the individual level and the later two, the social level and the societal level. And then comes the larger understanding on theoretical perspectives. Basically, as we have been saying, and now I would like to say it further, that sociology looks at social phenomenon at theoretical level. And yes, every student of sociology understands this and knows this, that there are at least 5 very popular theoretical perspective. The Marxist approach, which is also identified as the conflict approach, then the structural functional approach. In medical sociology or in sociology of health, we identify this with the contribution made by Parsons. Then the symbolic interactionist approach or symbolic interactionist perspective, and the Foucauldian perspective. The fifth perspective is the feminist perspective, and I talked about this in my previous lecture. So there are several other perspectives. Basically, we can talk about phenomenology or ethnomethodology, or for that matter, structuralism and post-structuralism. But at this level, for the beginners, it would not be fair to talk about so many theoretical perspectives. So as of now, we're talking about these four theoretical perspectives which help us in identifying the subject matter of sociology of health. I won't go into detail because we have identified these theoretical perspectives independently also, and I mean just we, we will have separate lectures for this theoretical perspective. Suffice it would be to talk about here is this, that Frederick Engels, in his excellent work, The Condition of the Working Class in England in 1844. In 1844, basically 1840s, he talked about the social causation of disease. And actually, in 1840s in England, in the aftermath of industrial revolution, basically the causation of plague and several other public health diseases. So, on the basis of that observation, Engels talked about the social determinants of health, and that is a masterpiece. And later on, we relate the contribution made by Engels and then the Marx perspective on uh, capitalism and the related things. Now, we have this combined approach, which is known as the Marxist approach, and which basically talks about the economic factors or the class factor, and it primarily believes that disease is basically a result of the capitalist mode of production in contemporary society. They also talked about some kind of conflict relationship between the patients and the healthcare providers, and for that matter, they talk about inequality within the medical profession or inequalities and hierarchy, and etc. etc. Parsonian sociology, the biggest contribution made by Parson was to state that illness is actually a kind of social abnormality, and the person who is becoming ill and then who basically gets identified in the role of sickness, which was defined as sick role. So the person who gets the status of sick role is actually attracting the attention of the society, and it is the responsibility of the society that he should come back to his normal role. So the point that I'm making here is this, that becoming sick is not some sort of individual abnormality, rather it is a kind of social abnormality, and that is why it is the responsibility of the society to bring that person back to normal role, and that is why they are considering the role of the medical professionals as very important and necessary for the maintenance of the society. Then comes the symbolic interactionist perspective, and we know that they are basically talking about the interpersonal relationship and the interaction between the agencies. So health personals and the patients, the kind of interaction, the kind of labeling, the processes involved, all these things are explored here. And then Goffman talked about, Goffman in his masterpiece, The Stigma, talked about some of these abnormalities and some of this labeling related to disease and illness sort of thing. And then Strauss et al. Also talked about the hospitals and its negotiated order. So these contributions help us to understand the perspective of the symbolic interactionist on issues related to health and illness. And then comes the fourth perspective, that is a very important perspective, and this is the Foucauldian perspective. Foucault, in his work, The Birth of the Clinic, way back in 1973, talked about several important things. One of the very important concept, medical gaze, is something which highlights Foucault's contribution in this particular domain. He talks about the power structure which is prevailing, and Foucault primarily talks about the kind of surveillance role which is played by the medical professionals. So for Foucault, disease and medicine are not simply something which can be seen in terms of the environment of the hospital or doctor-patient relationship only. Rather, it goes beyond that, and the whole power structure of the society is somehow related with this. So with this much discussion, we move to the next part of our lecture. It's already becoming lengthy. I was thinking of keeping it short. So now comes the next part, that is scope of sociology of health. So as we stated, the term health is becoming broader, and there are several new aspects and dimensions of life which are getting included, and that is why the understanding related to health is becoming more and more comprehensive. The increasing intersectionality among social, psychological, cultural, medical, biological, environmental, ethnic, geographical, and spatial dimensions of health, illness, and medicine and disease have made sociology of health as one of the most sought after discipline of sociology, because health is becoming very comprehensive. And then there are so many things. I'd just like to point out few things here. Basically, public health is becoming very important, and it talks about almost every stage of life, lifestyle, disease, and every aspect of life is included. And then increasing intervention of machine and technology with the body and the mind. Uh, we There are issues related to cloning, plastic surgery, sex change, embodiment, then transplant surgery, heart bypass, artificial organ. So the interaction between the body and the machine is increasing. Then there are specific social contexts coming because of this type of interaction between the machine and the body, like surrogacy, surrogate mother, hired womb, then some kind of organ transplantation, then tremendous growth of the medical profession and the specialization within that, then mental health inequalities, and then new dimensions, new perspectives of development like human development, and so many other things. So when these situations are coming into existence, then sociology of health is becoming very important, because none of because these issues cannot be solved. These issues cannot be solved without having the expertise of, of sociology of health. So the scope of sociology of health is increasing day by day. And as we stated earlier, if we see it in terms of medical sociology, then in several countries of the world, they find very important position in in the hospitals and healthcare providing systems. And then the situation related to epidemiological conditions, then big data kind of thing, and some sort of expansion expansion of interface between technology and social and cultural and environmental aspects of life. All these things actually necessitate that we should have more informed view on these issues, and sociology of health is helping us in understanding these concepts. So the scope is increasing day by day, and this point will get further elaborated with this part of the lecture. And that is why I have included here sociology of health in India. Very briefly, I would like to say that Anita Minocha, who later got identified as Anita Ahluwalia, sorry, who was earlier identified as Anita Ahluwalia and got identified as Anita Minocha at a later stage. She made some contribution in terms of sociology of medicine, a trend report. And in that trend report, she identified, and this actually trend report is the first systematic record of the contribution made by sociologists or anthropologists in the field of health, medicine, and illness sort of thing. So she has identified important things. Later on, S.R. Mehta in 1982 also tried to make some kind of trend report in a small article, Sociology of Health and Medical Care. And then Mehta has developed a critique of Minocha, and Mehta says that that The topics identified by Minocha were promoted by the foreign sociologists and anthropologists, and Minocha could not talk about the Indianized sociology or sociology for India kind of thing. She failed to include several other things. So Mehta has identified some of those topics that, in his view, Minocha has failed to. But Mehta has his own limitation, because Mehta is talking about, again, medical care, and the popular use of the word health has not attracted the attention of Mehta, because in 1978, Alma Ata Declaration has already made health for all as a common goal. So Mehta could have talked about that, but it is a limitation of his work. And then Akram in 2014, basically in his book Sociology of Health, tried to trace the important contributions made by Indian sociologists, or you can say students of sociology, or faculty members of sociology, or researchers of sociology, which and these works can be divided in four phases or four categories. In the initial work, it was actually divided in three phases, but as of today, we can talk about the fourth phase also. It has already started. So what are those three phases? The first phase started after independence, 1947, and continued till the imposition of political emergency, 1975-76. Actually, in this phase, health was not considered as one of the top priority in India because of several political reasons, right? And in that stage, sociology in India was much under the influence of British and US sociology. Then comes the second phase, and I have identified that as the phase in the which came into existence in the post Alma Ata Declaration, because Alma Ata Declaration has made health for all as a universal goal, and that has created several other advantages and positive environment for health studies. And then this stage actually uh, continued till we had another important development, and that was related to coming into existence of NACO, that is National AIDS Control Organization, because in 1980s AIDS became very important disease, and because of the communication pattern, it was a communicable disease, and it was somehow identified as a STD, that is sexually transmissible disease. So because of the communication pattern, it has attracted the attention of the sociologists and the anthropologists. So several other developments took place simultaneously, and I have mentioned these developments here. But this phase continued, and then several positive developments took place in the first decade of 20th century, basically NRHM, and then ASHA, and some kind of linking or improving the primary healthcare structure sort of thing. All those things are there. And now recently with the you can say arrival of COVID-19, I am compelled to talk about this fourth phase of development of sociology of health in India, because COVID-19 has attracted the attention of the sociologists like no other health topic has ever attracted. So during this COVID-19 and then a post-COVID-19 span will be very important in making or in seeing, witnessing the contribution of the sociologist in understanding the health and disease related aspects in India, and especially the medicine related aspect. Now, one thing I would like to say here, that immunity, then natural conditions, then food, then the holistic concept of life, then public health, hygiene, sanitation, and health consciousness. These are going to become very important in this fourth phase of development of sociology of health. So with this description, I'm going to close this topic. I hope you like this topic. If you are interested in seeing the references, you can see my book, Sociology of Health by Akram. And then there are other titles also. Sujata and Nagla both have written the same title, Sociology of Health and Medicine. You can see any of those books. And yes, if you like this lecture, then please write your comments and subscribe my channel. I'm uploading these lectures in YouTube so that it should not remain confined to our own students, but should reach to all needful students all over India. And yes, if possible, rest of the world also. So thank you very much. Now I'm going to stop this